Hey there, a very warm welcome to one and all. Today we are going to discuss the another topic, that is coronary atherosclerosis. We already knew that coronary atherosclerosis leads to different kind of major heart problems such as cardiac ischemia, myocardial infarction and even sometimes heart attacks. So, in this presentation we are going to see the different kind of cardiac problems caused by coronary atherosclerosis, the signs and symptoms, moreover the diagnostic methods along with possible treatment priorities and interventions, right. So, let us begin. Definition: atherosclerosis is a condition where the arteries become narrowed and hardened due to plaque buildup around the artery. What it means? It means there is a plaque formation which leads to narrowing the diameter of the artery that results in decreased blood supply to the heart muscles and leads to myocardial ischemia, right. It is a chronic inflammatory disease also known as atherosclerotic vascular disease, ASVD, all right. Let us see the introduction. Arteries carry blood flow from the heart to rest of the body. We know that arteries carries the blood from heart to the rest of the body, and veins take the blood from the body to the heart. Okay. They are lined with a thin layer of called endothelium. Why I am explaining this normal phenomena? Because without understanding of normal phenomena of artery, we are not going to understand the abnormalities, right. So, they are lined with the thin layer of cells called endothelium. Endothelium keeps arteries smooth and mechanically elastic for easy flow of blood through them, right. So, we can say endothelium plays an important role for the blood flow process, right. Atherosclerosis starts with the damage of endothelium layer, allowing harmful cholesterol to build inside the artery wall. So, basically what that happens, atherosclerosis start the rupturing of endothelial layer. I already mentioned endothelium is a layer which helps in blood flow, and atherosclerosis exactly damage the artery and deposit the cholesterol into the artery, and that leads to narrowing of the arterial wall, right. Over time plaque build up all these cholesterol, WBCs, calcium salts and other substances results in the narrowing of the lumen of artery, and that leads to obstruction of the flow of blood, right. So, plaque forms increased with the cholesterol, and because of the injury the WBCs also assemble there with different kind of calcium salts and other substances, which mainly results in the narrowing of the lumen of artery, and that leads to definitely the obstruction of flow of blood, right. Where you can see the normal artery and the narrowing of artery. Here is the wide lumen of an artery, you can see, and here is a narrowed lumen of an artery because of fat deposition. This fat deposition leads to reduced blood supply to the heart, right. Cases: if we see, plaque grows to a certain size and stop growing, causing no problems to the individual. If we can see, many people have plaque formation, but they are asymptomatic because this plaque size is not as much as big to cause problem, right. The plaque clots up to artery, disrupting the flow of blood, can be cured with drug and surgical interventions. So, if we are going to see, there is a treatment and fast surgical interventions can relieve from the plaque clog-ups. Okay. Plaque ruptures causing platelets to form thrombus block the artery completely, leading to death of the individual due to stroke or heart attack. Okay. So, what really happens, the plaque formation, that fat deposition which has been occurred in an artery, it get ruptured and leads to a thrombus formation. This thrombus dislodges from artery and move to heart and cause obstruction of major coronary arteries that leads to stroke and heart attack. If it travel to the brain, it can lead to stroke, and if it travel to the heart, it can lead to heart attack, right. Next, you can see here, this is a coronary artery and it is a diagram you can see normally. So, what it really happens, the plaque formation is already there, and because of some injury, some problems, this clot dislodges from the plaque and it gets moved from the blood vessels to the heart, right, and it can cause blockage of such arteries that leads to disruption of blood supply to the muscles of this cardiac organ. And if cardiac organ's muscle is not receiving sufficient amount of blood supply, definitely it also leads to reduced amount of oxygen. That may leads to ischemia, and ischemia can lead to myocardial infarction, and if infarction gets severe, it can lead to major heart failure, right. Next, causes. What are the causes? Basically, if we are going to discuss about the theories, the problem starts with injury to endothelium, right. Injury can be caused by due to hyperlipidemia, increased lipid level in the body, hypertension, severe blood pressure increased, that can lead to damage of the lumen of artery, right. Irritants such as nicotines from smoking, people who have smoking history may have the chances of atherosclerosis formation. Inflammatory cytokines, this is because of autoimmunity. Diabetes mellitus, obviously it's because of diabetes, people can get deposition of high density lipoprotein in their arteries. High cholesterol level, obesity, obviously same as diabetes the condition. Inflammation from disease like arthritis, lupus and infection. These infection can cause inflammatory responses and it can increase the damaging of arteries, right. The risk factors. There are two types of risk factors, the modifiable factors and non-modifiable factors. Modifiable factors which we can modify to reduce the chances and to prevent the coronary atherosclerosis. But there are some kind of non-modifiable factors which we cannot change according to our disease condition, right. First of all, age. As the body ages, the risk of atherosclerosis increases. In men, risk increases after 45 years, in women 55 years of age. Okay. Basically, it is because of their poor sedentary lifestyle or less daily activities. Okay. And there is a one hypothesis regarding gender. Male gender have higher risk of having atherosclerosis than female, right. Women are protected until menopause due to estrogen level in their body, which increases antibody response to infection. Okay. So, this is a hypothesis that women have less chances of coronary atherosclerosis because of estrogen level increased in their body, because estrogen helps to reduce the chances of infection by maintaining antibody response, right? If we having any kind of infection such as arthritis or lupus infection, and this estrogen will help to reduce the chances of infection, and women may get less options for this coronary atherosclerosis, okay, till menopause only, okay. After menopause they have also the chances of getting coronary atherosclerosis. Let's talk about family history. The risk of atherosclerosis increases as if a father or brother was diagnosed with heart disease before 55 years of age and mother of or sister before 65 years of age. This is also one of hypothesis. So we have to just remember the family history accordingly. Genetic abnormalities. There are some kind of genetic abnormalities like familial hypercholesterolemia. The condition is going on some kind of genetic abnormalities related to increased cholesterol level in body by genetic condition. Then familial dysbeta lipoproteinemia, this is also one of the genetic abnormalities, and inherited disorder of LDL metabolism. If the family having history that people don't have proper metabolism of low density lipoprotein, so it can cause also coronary atherosclerosis. Then let's discuss about modifiable factors. Hyperlipidemia. If people are taking high level of cholesterol, we can reduce their dieting cholesterol, so people may have less chances of coronary atherosclerosis. But many people are taking high cholesterol in their diet, so they have the chances of coronary atherosclerosis. Hypertension, as I previously mentioned, hypertension can rupture the coronary arteries. Diabetes or impaired glucose intolerance, if some people have diabetes or glucose intolerance, they can also have coronary atherosclerosis. Tobacco smoking, already mentioned that nicotine irritates the coronary arteries lumen, that can cause injury to the lumen of coronary artery. Hyperhomocystinemia, it is a type of autoimmune condition where homocysteine may get increased. Elevated serum C reactive protein CRP concentration, this can also lead to inflammatory responses. Then we have some lesser and earth centered factors. We don't have exact studies or researches about these things, but they also there for causing coronary atherosclerosis, such as obesity due to poor lifestyle, food habits, decreased HDL. HDL is a good type of cholesterol, okay, and increased LDL. High problematic cholesterol is LDL, low density lipoprotein. So if someone having high density lipoprotein, they have less chances of getting coronary atherosclerosis. Then there is a another thing is type A personality. Type A personality is the people who are short tempered, comparative, ambitious. Maybe they have the chances of getting coronary atherosclerosis, and all the bad habits can lead to like taking junk foods, different kinds of the sodas and cold drinks, and not doing any type of physical activities can leads to fat deposition. Then high carbohydrate intake, elevated serum of triglyceride, lipoprotein concentration, even insulin. Okay, so insulin and these all things also leads to deposition of fat. Elevated level of uric acid. Okay, so this can also cause coronary atherosclerosis. Elevated fibrinogen concentration. Fibrinogen helps to build up plaque very strongly. So this is also leads to complication. Hyperthyroidism, people have increased thyroid level, short sleep duration, who are not taking adequate time for sleeping, they may get chances of coronary atherosclerosis. Postmenopausal women's estrogen deficiency, as I previously mentioned, estrogen helps to reduce the chances of infection by maintaining antibody responses. So, the women who are in postmenopausal period may have chances of getting this kind of complication. People who are at lack of physical activity, yeah, people could have chlamydia, pneumonia type of infection and increase alcohol consumptions. So, these are all the factors which can lead to coronary atherosclerosis or plaque formation. Let us discuss about the pathogenesis. Coronary atherosclerosis is a progressive disease, means it is a gradual disease. It takes time, 1 year, 2 year or more than 1 to 2 years. This may begin as early as in the childhood. Okay. Begins with fatty streak formation, fat deposition start. Fatty streak formed by accumulation of lipid laden form cells in the tunica intima of endothelium. Right. So, the tunica intima of endothelium is the most inner layer of arteries. So, what really happens? This fatty formation starts in the layer of tunica intima, and that leads to increase the amount of fatty layer and leads to decrease the diameter of an artery. So, many hypotheses and theories were established to support the pathogenesis of disease. Let us see. There are different kind of theories: thrombogenic theory, insudation theory, monoclonal hypothesis and response to injury theory. So, these are the few important theories which developed to explain coronary atherosclerosis pathogenesis. But mainly this one response to injury theory is mostly widely accepted in the world. So, you have to remember these all 4 names just for your knowledge, but we will discuss about response to injury theory, right. Let us start. As I previously mentioned, all of our theories, only response to injury theory now has widespread acceptance. Okay. So, it was mentioned by Ross and Glomset in 1972. Okay. Earliest event in atherosclerosis is injury to endothelium. They mentioned injury to endothelium leads to atherosclerosis events. According to the theory, injury leads to endothelium dysfunction, which increases the vascular permeability of the endothelium to LDL and also allows platelet adhesion to the site. What really happens? The endothelial injury leads to increased permeability of the endothelium to LDL. LDL means if we are consuming low density lipoprotein, it may get deposit in the tunica of endothelium and also leads to platelets additions at the site. This can leads to increase the size of plaque formation, right. As a response to injury, when any type of injury occur, that's like endothelium injury or due to hypertension injury occur, various inflammatory responses are provoked, like WBCs are sent to rescue the site and they get stuck in the plaque and finally lumen start narrowing, right. So, when injury occurred, the WBC went to the site. This site's WBC starts accumulating and leads to narrowing of lumen of artery, right. What are the complications and symptoms? Atherosclerosis can occur anywhere in the body, including heart, legs, and kidneys. Mostly, we already informed about one condition, that atherosclerosis can occur only in the heart, but it is not absolutely correct. It can occur anywhere in the body, including vital organs like heart, legs, and kidneys. Right? Consequences and complications depend on the location of blocked artery in the body. I can say if the coronary atherosclerosis occurred in coronary arteries, it can damage the heart. If this kind of damage occurred in the legs, it can leads to peripheral thrombosis formations. If atherosclerosis occurs in the kidney, it can lead to renal dysfunction or renal abnormalities, right? So it depends on the location of blocked artery. Though it begins its development early in adolescence, when the adolescent start, it also starts to occur. But symptoms are not visible until the artery is narrowed or clogged effectively. Right. In other words, we can say the plaque formations get start from the early adulthood, means adolescence age, but people do not have produced symptom because of less accumulation of fat in the artery. As much as the age progress, the fat deposition get increased, that leads to narrowing of artery and it creates opportunity to express the symptoms, right? Atherosclerosis symptoms depend on which artery is affected, like coronary artery, carotid artery, peripheral artery, renal artery, cerebrovascular arteries. So, depending on these arteries, you can assume the condition or complications which may occur due to atherosclerosis formation. Let's see, coronary artery. What really happens when blood vessels carrying to blood to the heart leads to different kind of symptoms like ischemic heart disease, angina, chest pain, cardiac arrest, arrhythmias, fatigue. In overall, I can say if heart muscles are taking less amount of oxygen from the arteries, the heart may get dysfunction and that can leads to angina, severe chest pain, cardiac arrest, heart functions may get decreased, arrhythmias, irregular, uncontrollable contractions, and patient may have fatigue. If carotid artery damage, okay, this artery present in neck and supplying to the brain, so you can assume the severity of the condition. Symptoms may express like paralysis, loss of consciousness, headache, sight trouble, vision disturbances, trouble in speaking, understanding speech, dizziness, trouble in walking, loss of balance. Means overall I can say these all symptoms are expressing the sign for stroke, and if brain get damage, this can lead to stroke. A stroke is a major life threatening condition, right? Let's discuss peripheral arteries. What really happens when peripheral arteries may get affected? Peripheral arteries, you can see this is the artery and here is the nerve supply. If the plaque formation may get increased their size, it can also compress the nerve and that leads to numbness of legs and arms, numbness of legs and arms, loss of sensitivity, pain during walking, and gangrene formation, tissue depth. So these are the three symptoms. It is due to compression of nerves. Okay. What really happens when affect renal artery, kidney? So artery supplying to the kidney damage, then patient may get tiredness. There is alteration in duration of urination. Patient may have loss of appetite, nausea, swelling of hands and feet, edema formation. Okay. Aneurysm can occur. Aneurysm is a bulging in a wall of artery. As I previously mentioned that increased size of plaque formation can lead to compress the nerve, right? So this is also one of the condition aneurysm. Aneurysm is bulging of an artery. If aneurysm burst, ruptured, one may face life threatening internal bleeding and deaths. Patient may get internal bleedings, internal hemorrhage, and this can also lead to death. Okay, it's a type of catastrophic event which occurred suddenly. If a blood clots with aneurysm obstruct the artery at the same distant point, this is called catastrophic event, right? So this is also a life threatening condition. If cerebrovascular artery affected, that can lead to transient ischemic attacks, stroke without brain injury. Patient may get stroke without any brain injury. Diagnosis. What are the diagnostic methods? We can identify the disease condition by these three techniques: study of family history, physical examination, and the possible test methods. Let's begin by physical examination. Bruits formation. Okay, so bruits is a type of whizzing sound over an artery. You will place a stethoscope over an artery and try to listen the sound which is known as bruits. So if bruit sounds is present, whoozing sound is present, that indicates patient may have coronary atherosclerosis. A weak or absent pulse below the narrowed area of arteries. Patient may get weak or absent pulse. Sign of pulsating bulge, aneurysm. Okay. Decreased blood pressure in affected limb or arm. If arms or limbs are affected, they may have less blood supply. So you can identify by the bluish discoloration or pallor discoloration of the artery, arms and limbs. Evidence of poor wound healing. Poor wound healing, why it occurs? Because of less blood supply. If patient do not having proper blood supply, wound healing process also get slow down. Let's see what are the test reports we can perform, the diagnostic methods. The doctor can suggest which are the tests. First of all, blood test. Blood test to detect the level of fat, cholesterol, sugar, protein in our body. So these all are the major factors which leads to formation of plaque. Okay, we can also perform Doppler ultrasound. Doppler ultrasound helps to locate the exact location of atherosclerosis, the plaque formation. Okay, so it's a type of special ultrasound which measures blood pressure at various points along arms and legs, uses sound waves, and to gauge the degree of blockage, it also provide information regarding the degree of blockage and speed of blood flow, and at what speed the blood flow is going on. If speed blood flow is high, then definitely the plaque formation is very small. If there is blood from flow is very slow, okay, and very pressurized blood flow is going on, that means patient have coronary atherosclerosis formation. Like we can also perform ECG, electrocardiogram, simple painless test, okay, to record heart activities. You can see the rhythm and speed of heartbeats, which can also provide signs for CHD, congestive heart failure. So you know that the PQRST, by this means of you can detect the rhythm and speed of heartbeats. You can also perform ankle brachial index. Okay, compress the blood pressure at the ankle with the blood pressure in the arms and calculate ankle brachial index. It also helps to identify the abnormalities. Abnormal differences indicate PVD, peripheral vascular disease by coronary atherosclerosis. यदि आप if you get abnormal conditions in ankle brachial index, that may leads to indicate the peripheral vascular disease. And the lastly, echocardiography. Echo sound waves are used to moving image of your heart. This can indicate areas of poor blood flow to the heart. Exactly, you will find the image of particular area of the heart where the blood flow is very poor, area of muscle not contracting normally. You will also get the image of particular area of heart which is not contracting, and also you can locate the previous heart injuries by echocardiography. And we have one surgical diagnostic methods, angiography. By angiography we inject a special dye into an artery, and this dye outlines narrow the spots and blockage in the images. You can see here the dye is inserted in coronary artery, and the x-ray image is taken to locate the blockage and plaque formation. Other tests, there are advanced ultrasounds, there are MRA, magnetic resonance angiogram, not MRI, magnetic resonance angiogram, CT scan you can also perform. So these days can show the hardening and narrowing as well as aneurysm and calcium deposition in arteries. So this can leads to highly costly test methods. So in India, mostly people are not using such type of diagnostic methods to locate the condition, but we can use in future. Treatment methods. What are the treatment methods? Treatment methods have been classified in major three categories. First of all, lifestyle changes, medications, and the surgeries. Okay, let's begin with one and one. We will explain. First, lifestyle changes. First line of defense is treating the atherosclerosis. Okay, so eating healthy and balanced diet. What it means? It means avoiding all type of bad factors such as high density, uh, the low density lipoproteins, cholesterol. These all things we have to avoid. Managing stress, managing cholesterol and diabetes, etc. It includes exercise and maintaining body weight, reducing body weight, maintaining exercise, and quitting smoking. Very, very important. Okay. Then medications. What are the medications we can use? Secondly, so various drugs which can slow down or reverse the effect of atherosclerosis. They cannot completely dissolve this plaque formation, but they can slow down or reverse the effect of atherosclerosis. First of all, cholesterol medications. There are statin and fibrates we can use to reduce the cholesterol level. Antiplatelet medications. There are some few antiplatelet medications which mainly used to reduce the platelet formation at the site of injury, such as aspirin. Okay. Anticoagulants, we can use some anticoagulant medications. They help to prevent clotting. Okay, so basically these anticoagulants helps to prevent thrombus formation. Okay, so by preventing clotting of blood, sorry. Okay, heparin and warfarin, these are two anticoagulants. Then there are some antihypertensive medications like angiotensin or beta blockers, and some diabetes medications we can use to reduce the. Okay, so there are few surgeries we can perform to, depending on the severity and symptoms, extend the blockage. Okay, so first one is endarterectomy, surgical removal of fatty deposits on the walls. We can remove the fatty deposition on the walls. There is bypass grafting, we can make a bypass, so the blood flow will increase by making bypass grafting. Thrombolytic therapies, different types of thrombolytic agent we can administer to the patient, which can lead to reduced formation of thrombus. Angioplasty, can perform angioplasty. Here is the procedure. Okay, a type of balloon is inserted to increase the size of a lumen of an artery. Okay, prevention methods, we can use some lifestyle changes. First, primary prevention that includes quitting smoking and drinking, controlling hypertension, weight loss, exercising, and lowering total LDL level and increasing HDL level. Okay. Then lastly, secondary preventions aims to prevent by anticoagulant administration or antiplatelet medications, cholesterol, diabetes, blood pressure medication, and surgical interventions. So basically, coronary atherosclerosis is intima-based lesion organized into a fibrous cap, atherosmosis, core composed of SMC, ECM, inflammatory cells, lipid, and necrotic debris. Okay, it is driven by interplay of inflammation and injury to the artery walls. Inflammation and injury to the artery walls damage and leads to coronary atherosclerosis. Plaque occurs slowly over decades. It takes time and clinically silent, asymptomatic, but it can produce symptoms due to rupture, thrombus, or hemorrhage formations. Atherosclerosis is preventable and treatable condition. Okay. Thank you so much. If you are having any doubts, you can text me personally. Thank you so much.